Hello, this is Fritz-Ay says, and welcome back to Lyre. So it's been a while since we spent some time with Lyle and Owen. I think we were still getting ready for the ball, and we just had that lovely little time in that garden with Lyle, where he did a cute little blep with some fruit juice on his nose. Let's go ahead and get started. About a dozen days pass, and I have finally finished getting everything ready for the winter solstice. A couple of restless nights and a few bottles of wine seemed to do the trick. Lyle keeping me company also helped, even if he spent most of his time out in the hall. I have to attend these boring meetings, though. The only good thing to come out of them are my conversations with Ranor once the meetings are done. He's grown quite fond of me over the past few days. I don't know why he likes me so much. He treats Lord Gadaj and I the same professionally, but he treats me like a friend. Then there's Lyle. Lately, I think he's been distancing himself from me. I assume it's because of that little revelation that occurred. It crossed my mind multiple times as well. I can't help but be thankful for this little bit of space that's been provided. True, I enjoy his company, but I feel that I needed some time to myself in order to assess my thoughts. And I have finally come to a conclusion. I think I'm in love with him? Or maybe not. Perhaps I'm just confused. Call it what you will, but it's the closest I've ever gotten to feeling like I am in love with someone. Childhood crushes and young love don't compare to this at all. It feels wrong considering I've only been here for a while, but every time I am around him, my chest twists itself into knots and I feel all warm inside. Even if it's too early to be coming to those conclusions, I still want to get to know him even more. Every day I wake up and he's the first thing on my mind. His personality, those big eyes, that beautiful dark coat of fur and bushy tail, those strong muscular arms and that massive heart. I get up from my desk and go to answer the door. I don't know. Maybe it's not love. My emotions are all over the place and I need to be more responsible. It's fine to be emotional though, right? Before I can grab the handle, I hear a weird scratching noise. It's coming from the peephole. I open the small door and stare through the opening. On the other side is Lyle, sticking his muzzle up to the opening. Hi. Hi? Can I come in? I have to hold back my laughter. Opening the door? Oh, okay. I open the door to let him in as he ducks under the doorway. I can't take it anymore. I break into a fit of wheezy chuckles. He kind of recoils and gets a little bit flustered, which makes me laugh even more. What? What is it? It's nothing. No. You know exactly what you did. I know. I was trying to be funny. And you succeeded. I just had a bit of a late response. Yeah. I wipe a tear from my eye and pull my hair back and retie it behind my head while walking back to my desk. That was a nice icebreaker, I guess. Well, you'll be happy to know that I just finished getting everything ready for the ball. That's great to hear. Yeah, I just have to bring these payments to the bakery in the village. They're baking hundreds of mini pastries, along with providing baked goods for the village festival. Wait, you're not going to have a servant do that? Well, I wanted to bring it myself. I figured that they deserve to have this delivered in person, considering the hard work that they've been doing. I hold up the thick envelope. Today is the first day all week where it's not freezing cold. And I feel like now that I have the free time, I can go and see the village. All right. Really? Yeah, I don't see why not. You don't have to ask me for permission, though. I know. I just wanted a second opinion. I wanted to make sure it was a good idea. Besides, I'm pretty sure that I have nothing else going on today. I think to myself for a moment about how the winter solstice is only a few days away. Time flies when you're busy, I guess. Plus, I've got a lot on my mind. I'm actually free the rest of the week, if what I have to go off of is true.
That's good to hear. I actually am a little excited to be able to show you around the town square. The village actually has a lot of history to it.
I can imagine it now. A bustling town square with dozens of little shops and homes lining the street. I can honestly barely contain my excitement. I sure hope it does. I'll go get ready. I make my way across the room and dress myself in clothing that better suits going outside. It's very cold out and I don't want to freeze. Lyle is standing on the far side of the room. Is he watching me get dressed? While I'm putting on my trousers, I turn my head to look in his direction. I think I see him quickly avert his gaze. He's not even staring at anything. He's just staring at the wall. I finish putting on my outfit and wrap the scarf around my neck. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
He quickly pads across the room and opens the door while I grab the envelope off the desk. We step out into the hallway together, and the brisk chill hits my face. The afternoon sunlight envelops me for a moment, making the cold temperature a little bit more bearable. Lyle takes a key off his keyring and locks the door behind us.
I have some things that I would like to take care of in the village today, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I mean, it should only take a few minutes. It shouldn't interfere with any...
Lyle, it's fine.
Right. Sorry.
Remember, I'm not some child that needs to be taken care of. We make our way down the hallway, with me rubbing my hand along the windowsill. He walks by my side, rubbing his paws together in a sheepish way. What is it you wanted to do? He perks up and leans forward, showing me the sword on his back.
I wanted to take this to the smith. I need to get it treated.
He slides it off his back sheath and shows me the blade. It does look like it could use a good polish.
Yeah, the blade's a bit dull. I like to keep her in good condition, even though I don't get to use her much.
When do you get to use your sword?
I mostly only practice combat in the training yard. The training dummies really do a number on her edge.
We reach a fork in the hallway and Lyle takes the lead.
This way.
We traverse down a hallway that I haven't been to before. It feels familiar, though. So what is her name?
Oh,
I see his mouth curl, clearly too embarrassed to reveal such information.
Her name is Winter.
That's a cool name. And no, that pun was not intended.
Thanks. I chose that name because just like this sword, Winter can be cold, dangerous, and long.
That's actually very poetic. That's very clever.
I can hear the tone of surprise in your voice, Owen.
No, you cannot. He lets out a hearty laugh that continues up and down the halls.
I'm just messing with you.
We've reached the end of the hallway where there's a small door. This feels too familiar. Have I been here before? Maybe this was one of the dead ends Lyle accidentally led me down on one of our many tours. Lyle takes a key and unlocks the door, revealing a spiral staircase. I'm instantly flooded with deja vu. Where does this lead?
The village.
Do people usually leave the castle through here? He pauses for a moment in the doorway, then turns and speaks.
No, but sometimes it's best to use one of these exits instead of the main gates.
Why is that?
It's nothing. Honestly, this way is just faster. It leads straight to the village, and there's no unnecessary checkpoints like at the main gate.
He starts to descend the staircase, and I follow him. How far down does this go?
Not too far. It's just a tunnel that leads to an exit in the village. These are supposed to be used in case anyone needs to escape the castle during a siege, but most of the diplomats and nobles like to use them to leave the castle without drawing any attention. Are we not trying to draw attention? If you want to leave through the main gate, we can. This way is faster, though.
No, this is fine. It's actually a bit exciting. I haven't done anything this sneaky or exciting in a while.
I'm glad you think so. It's going to get really dark once we reach the tunnel. Humans can't see well in the dark, can they?
No, we can't.
That's okay. I have almost perfect vision in the dark, so I can help you. It's not a dangerous path at all. Very spacious, and the ground is flat.
I'm putting my trust in you, but I swear if I slip and hit my head, you better hope I get amnesia.
You'll be fine.
We reach the bottom of the stairs and I can barely see a thing. Each step I take becomes more cautious and suddenly I feel something brush up against my hand.
Owen, take my paw.
I feel the metallic claws and soft leather of his glove wrap around my palm. His paws are very large and warm. They have a firm but gentle grip and feel articulate. These truly are an artist's hands. Or artist paws. Both with the pen and the sword. I wish I could tell him how I feel, but I'm just so nervous. All these little scenarios run through my head, and I'm afraid I'll mess things up. I feel so silly. He pulls me forward and we begin to walk down the tunnel. I really hope that he can't see me blushing. Our footsteps echo up and down the tunnel, reverberating off the walls. His are quieter than mine, because my shoes are much louder than his padded feet. There's a light at the end that I can see. It looks like it's coming from a trap door. We eventually reach the small slit of light, and I hear the noise of Lyle's keys jingling. He unlocks the trap door and pushes it open. The light is blinding, but can at least see the stairs. Lyle steps to the side, and I make my way up. I emerge into a side alley, and just around the corner is something I had been longing to see for a very long time. It's just like how I imagined it would be. I mean, I had seen most of it from the high towers in the castle, but it's more beautiful up close. People are bustling about their daily business, going about their routine. Children seen holding their mother's paws while they shop for groceries and merchants conducting business outside their shops. Horse-drawn carts make their way down the paved roads and pass each other in a neat, orderly fashion, circling around the fountain. The buildings are small and neat, stacked side by side, and their walls are painted with a cream color. The roof of each building shines in different shades of green and blue, the morning frost reflecting the sun off each shingle in a majestic way. Flowers line the windows of some of the buildings, and leaves from the trees skate across the ground. Pipes run up and down the walls of each little shop and home, with smoke drifting out of the chimney caps into the sky. Lyle finishes locking the trap door and joins me by my side with his paws on his hips. He's taking this in too. There's an entrance underneath a bridge up ahead, and I can see the ships in the harbor. The sails are rolled up, and the masts pierce into the sky like spears. I could see the waters from the castle, and Luna's fjord is glistening with the morning light. I wonder if we will be able to go down to the harbor. If I remember correctly, the bakery should be in the town square. As I'm looking around for the bakery, my eye catches something that I didn't pay much attention to before. The fountain in the center of the town square has a statue on it that seems familiar. It's a doe, standing atop a pillar with grace and elegance. Her clothes are heavy, and it looks like she's draped in several garments of silk and cotton. Her eyes are closed, and her expression looks understanding, but there seems to be an aura of sadness about her. On her head is a tiara with a triangular gem hanging off the tip. Crystal clear water flows out of the base of the fountain and glows in the light of the sun. Lyle is already walking towards a building where I can hear the clanging of metal when he stops to see why I'm not following. I walk up to the fountain and notice a golden plaque. There's an inscription on it, which I read out loud to myself. In honor of Queen Elena Osain, loving mother, dutiful ruler. Lyle walks up beside me, staring up at the statue. This is
Queen Elena Osain, Raynar's late wife.
What happened to her? He scrunches up his snout and shakes his head slowly.
She died about 10 years ago.
His shoulders raise tensely and he sinks into his neck fluff a little bit. That's a shame. I think he probably feels like it's not his place to talk about this. Was she a good queen? He relaxes a bit and looks up at the statue again. I look as well and cannot help but think of my own queen back in Urn.
The best.
For the moment, the only noise I can hear is the sound of the water trickling on the surface of the pool. I don't doubt it. Do you think Raynar and Adrius miss her? This time his answer is instant.
With all their hearts, I'm sure.
He gives a slight pause to his sentence, letting the words linger.
Come on, let's go to the forge. I've got a friend that I want you to meet.
He takes the lead, and I'm not surprised to see the villagers part to let us pass. They probably recognize Lyle's armor and immediately know that someone important must be making their way through the village. Now that I think about it, I've been getting a lot of those stares. As I'm following Lyle, I see a vixen and a badger look at me and whisper to each other. The vixen says something that flusters the badger, and she lightly shoves her, making the fox laugh even more. A child holding their mother's paws calls out to her while pointing at me. I'm not used to getting this much attention, and I find myself awkwardly smiling at anybody who gives it to me. I'm not really looking where I'm going, and I accidentally step on Lyle's tail.
Ah!
I lift my foot, realizing my mistake, and he stumbles forward slightly. I can hear a couple of bystanders chuckle to themselves at my clumsiness. My face is probably red as a tomato. He turns around, looking behind him, and wags his tail a bit to get it straightened out.
Please watch your step, Owen. It took me a very long time to get my tail to look this nice.
Sorry, Lyle. He keeps walking and stops outside of a tall building. There are some baskets outside stacked up against the wall and a rug out on the floor. I can hear the clang of metal from inside and the smell of coal burning. Lyle lifts the tarp in the doorway and gestures for me to walk through. I step into the doorway, muttering a thanks to him, still embarrassed about stepping on his tail like a clumsy fool. We step into a dim room lit by a large furnace. It's warm in here, and the tarp and lack of window does a good job of keeping the heat inside. There are swords lying up against a rack and horseshoes on the wall. I see an array of tools scattered about and a rack with some small hammers neatly on display. It smells like hard work in here.
Adan, you in?
I hear a gruff voice come from the door off to the side.
Reed, is that you?
Yeah, just a second.
Getting a new hammer from the back.
I hear some clattering, and shortly after, a large bear appears in the doorway. He's wearing a black apron and has a hammer slung over his shoulder.
It's been a while, Reed. What do you need done this time?
His eyes fall on me.
And who is this?
Ah, this is Owen. Lord Owen.
He says this in a proud tone. Before I can ream him, Adan gives a slight bow and looks up.
It's a right pleasure to meet you, Lord Owen.
The bow is something I'm still getting used to. You can just call me Owen if you want. I extend a hand, and he takes it gently. His paws are huge and a bit dirty. I'm glad I'm wearing gloves. He shakes my hand lightly, as if he were dealing with a small child.
If that's what you want to be called, Owen.
He traveled here from Urn to help with diplomatic relations.
We don't get a lot of people from Urn around these parts. Especially during this time of year. Too cold for him.
It does get a bit too cold for my comfort.
Ha! Don't worry. At night, once those vitality lanterns are lit, they'll warm up the whole village. Keeps the snow at bay, too.
He turns to Lyre with a snarky grin.
Do you need your sword fixed again?
Lyre blushes and grips the handle of his sword.
No, I just need it sharpened. She's feeling a bit dull. I would do it myself, but nobody does it better than you.
You've got that right.
He hoists the hammer higher, adjusting it on his shoulder.
Vecrite steel. It's a quality material, so I'll be able to have it done within the hour. You want her polished, too. I could give it the full treatment for no extra cost.
Really?
Sure. I'm not busy and I need something to do to make the time pass faster. These orders won't be picked up until later today, so for the past hour I've just been cleaning up my workspace. But I hate cleaning, so I'll do anything to distract myself.
Lyle's tail is wagging and I can feel his excitement radiating off him.
That would be great!
Lyle gives his sword to Adan and he sets it on a table.
I'll be back in a bit to pick her up.
He starts walking towards the door.
It was nice seeing you, Ed. The Castle Forge has nothing on this place.
Nice seeing you too, buddy. It was great meeting you, Owen.
Lyle lifts the tarp to the door and holds it open for me. A chilly breeze blows back into the room and envelops the back of my head as I wave back to Adan. It was a pleasure to meet you too. We step outside and Lyle places his paw on my shoulder.
We'll come back here in a while to pick up my sword. Now that that's out of the way, you can drop off that letter at the bakery while we wait.
Sure, I think you'd see it over there.
Oh, wait. We should get something to eat while we're there. I'll pay. My treat.
Oh. Sure. I can pay for my own, though. It's fine.
Okay, Mr. Moneybags.
Says the one trying to buy me stuff.
I'm buying, okay?
Okay. He seems to be pleased with that outcome.
Great, let's go. I'm starving.
We slowly make our way around the square and arrive at the door to the bakery. Lyle gets the door open for me and holds it. The inside of the bakery is warm, just like the forge. It's very clean and cozy in here, too. There's a small barn owl sitting behind the counter dressed in an outfit covered in flour. She's surrounded by an array of baked goods. Weirdly shaped cookies, loaves of bread, pastries, cakes, and pies. I see a shelf stacked with sacks of salt, flour, and sugar for sale. There's more salt, though, probably because it's really expensive. It smells wonderful in here, too. I can smell the stuff being freshly baked in the back. There's a raccoon couple sitting at one of the tables in the corner by the window. Lyle closes the door and we walk up to the counter.
Hello, Charlotte. How are you doing today?
Her black eyes beam back at Lyle as we step up to the counter. There's a sense of warmth about her. Her feathers even make her look like a seasoned loaf of bread.
Lyle! I haven't seen you in a couple of years. You look so grown up. In a good way, right? Always. And who's your friend here? This is Owen. He's the lord from Urn.
Hello.
Oh my. The last time we had a lord in here was about 2 years ago. Well, what can I get for you boys?
Actually, I have a letter here for you. I place the letter on the counter and she slides it towards her with one of her gloves. This is for the goods you're preparing for the ball at the castle. If you take this to the banking guild and show it to them, then the crown will pay you in full for your services.
Oh, thank you very much, Lord Owen. I'm glad that all that hard work will pay off. John will be pleased to hear this.
She tucks the letter under the counter.
Now, you might have been here on the king's order, but I know Lyle is here because of his stomach.
Lyle is staring at the shelves with his tongue slightly hanging out. What can I get you to eat? I take a look at what's on the shelves and the counter. There's a really nice plate of pastries on the shelf with little labels.
I'll have a slice of the blueberry pie.
I see Lyle turn and look at me from the corner of my eye. I'll have the almond cream tart.
John!
A rotund wolf with red fur leans in the doorway. He was working by the stove while we were talking.
Yes, Mom. You hear that? Yes, Mom, I did. I'll get that right out for you folks in a few.
John sets down what he is doing and reaches up to the shelf to prepare a slice of pie.
That'll be 8 copper pieces.
Lyle reaches behind him and pulls out a small sack from off his belt. He reaches in and pulls out a shiny coin.
Here's a silver. You can keep what's left.
Thank you. While Lyle paid, John came out and placed the orders on the counter. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlotte.
You're welcome. You boys have a good rest of your day. You too. The pastry is the last bit of warmth left on my person once we go outside. The temperature has gone down a bit as the day has gone on. I take a bite of my food and it's more than I imagined it could be. The flaky crust tastes really good and the almonds add a very nice texture. It's amazing. I can hear Lyle next to me, chowing down on his pie. It's bite-sized for him. He finishes it and rubs the back of his head.
They always have the best food. Do you like it?
It's really good. I say this with my mouth full and I chuckle a bit.
I'm glad you like it. Let's go sit by the fountain.
Okay. We walk over to the fountain and sit on the ledge. Warm water particles bounce up onto us from the fountain, but I don't mind. Lyle moves his cape so he's not sitting on it and pulls out his dagger. I finish eating my food and stuff the paper into my coat. He's sitting there with a thoughtful look on his face while he twirls the dagger in his paw. I start to feel a bit tired and decide to lean against him a bit. It feels nice being this close to him. I feel him tense up a little.
I can move over if you want to lay down.
No, this is fine.
Okay.
I can feel him start to calm down, and after a while, he leans into me too. His fur smells like coconut. It's a really strong scent. That would probably be one of the strange soaps from the bathroom. I don't remember seeing or smelling coconut in the bath, though. It's nice, though. It reminds me of home, where there was this nice bar with coconut-scented candles. I start to daydream about pressing my face into his warm embrace when I'm snapped out of it by him nudging me on the shoulder.
Hey!
Huh?
You're freezing cold.
He brushes one of his paw pads up against my forehead.
Do you want to go and get my sword and head back to the castle?
Yes, I think I'm ready to go.
Okay.
He helps me up and we start walking towards the forge. I'm starting to feel a little bit too cold. I guess the warmth of the castle has been coddling me these past few weeks. We enter the forge and Adon is standing on his anvil, banging away at a piece of metal. I spot Lyle's longsword on the rack with the others. The wolf head pommel stares back at me with an angry face. You can tell the sword is built for a big person, because it completely dwarfs the other longswords, making them look like short swords.
Welcome back, my friends. There she is, all sharp and ready for use.
He's right. The blade of Veckrite is practically glowing in the firelight. When the light hits it just right, you can even see a bit of a swirled design.
Thanks, Ed. You really are the best.
I know. And don't you forget it. Just like you won't be forgetting the price. You're getting a discount, but it's not free.
Of course not. How much is it this time?
5.
Alright then. Lyle pulls his pouch out again and sifts through it for 5 gold pieces.
Here you go, Adon.
He drops the pieces into his paw, and Adon stuffs them into his apron.
Thank you very much, good sir.
Lyle walks over to the rack and picks up his sword, swinging it back onto his back, sliding it into the sheath.
Have a pleasant day.
You too, old friend. We step outside and Lyle stretches, standing on his tiptoes. He lets out a big yawn, showing off his sharp teeth.
Ready?
Yes. Lyle leads me to the alley where the tunnel back to the castle is. He opens the door, and we go down the steps with him holding my hand. Once we got back, Lyle dropped me off at my room and had to leave to go do something. He said that he would be back around sunset, and if I wanted to go anywhere, to make sure I stay safe and out of trouble. I assure them that I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself. He knows this, but just wants to make sure that I'm okay. What would I need to be afraid of? I decide to go for a walk down the halls and maybe try to find someone to talk to. As far as I know, I don't have anything else planned for today, so I'm just trying to fill in the boredom. I hear some voices coming up the hall after a while. And we're gonna stop there. So we just went into the town and got to meet the blacksmith and the bakery owl and that lovely, lovely big fox. So we just had a nice little trip to the town and are back and are gonna have a conversation with Adrius. And yeah, looking forward to the next episode. Yeah, this has been Fritz-Ay Says, and everyone have a nice day. Ciao.